31 to Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. The scene of Big 12 basketball today, as Kansas, the number 2 team in the country, unbeaten, tangles with Nebraska for the second time this year. Reed Geddes.
I don't know that you can play a perfect game against Kansas. They're so good defensively, but for Nebraska to have a chance, they're going to have to get awful close.
All right, they are set to go, both teams at midcourt. Steve Walmer, the lead official here today, has John Higgins and Kevin Mathis with him, and Steve Walmer has the basketball, and we are set for hoops at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Memphis, remaining unbeaten today, hanging on to the number 1 spot in the country. The Jayhawks out to stick at number 2, and the tip belongs to Kansas and Darnell Jackson, and here we go. Jayhawks attacking first, and they usually really attack people here. Jackson to the baseline, tried to get it to the corner and did.
Boy, look at the ball movement by Kansas. Sends red shirts scrambling all over the court.
Russell Robinson missed, but Darrell Arthur with the stick back, and the Jayhawks score first. And Arthur having a terrific year, as is Darnell Jackson up front for KU. And now the steal, Russell Robinson on a run out against Cookie Miller. Miller steals it right back.
Yeah, returns the favor. That's unusual. Cookie Miller, the last 5 games for Nebraska, has a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Only 1 turnover the first time these 2 teams played.
Now another steal. Rush intercepts the pass. Up court, Darnell Jackson back to Rush. Wide open look. Stuck it. And Rush has 3.
Well, you heard Doug Bell talk about it while he was doing his interview with Bill Self. Brandon Rush shooting 52% in the last 4 games from behind the line.
That Jayhawk defense already forcing 2 turnovers. Now Marich down inside with a jump hook. No, Rush breaks the rebound.
Did you see when Marich turned over his left shoulder? All 5 shirts for Kansas were inside the paint.
Well, Arthur fouled as he takes the shot. Yeah, I'm looking at Cookie Miller. He's 5'7". Nifty little player. We'll give you the lineups and talk about Cookie Miller for Nebraska. Miller, Henry, Harley, Anderson, and Marich. For Kansas, Robertson, Chalmers, Rush, Arthur, and Jackson. Now, Reed, if you didn't know anything about it, they tell you you're going into the number 2 team in the country's own gym. You got a 5'7" point guard named Cookie.
Yeah, you just hope your cookie doesn't crumble, don't you? Hey, I tell you what, he hasn't crumbled at all on the road, and a little bit ironic, he has been much better on the road than he has been at home. At home, averages just 4 points per game. On the road, Cookie Miller averages 14 points per game. But boy, this is an environment for a freshman point guard. It'll be interesting to watch how he handles the pressure.
Arthur a little strong. Marich clears the rebound. Well, Cookie Miller, who has played well under the at 5'7", think how many times in his life he's had to prove he was better than a bigger guy to get the challenge.
Every time he puts on high tops. Boy, look at the defense.
Miller pops the jump shot and got it. Cookie Miller against the Huskers on the board.
Now that was a beautiful look off by Cookie Miller with a pump fake to Steve Harley in the corner.
Darnell Jackson to the corner. Robinson, Chalmers. We're going to move the ball again.
What a tough matchup right here. Ryan Anderson trying to guard Darrell Arthur.
16 to shoot. Jackson turns and faces Marich. Takes him into the lane. Spinning jump shot on the rim won't go. But down inside, the rebound tangle to the floor go Darrell Arthur and Alex Marich. And it's Nebraska's ball.
This is the matchup we were just talking about. Doc Sadler's got a challenge on his hands. He's got 6'4" Ryan Anderson trying to guard 6'9" Darrell Arthur. That is a tough matchup.
Crowd, of course, didn't like the call because the ball didn't go their way. But a good call. Possession now belongs to Kansas. Harley running down the baseline, gets the feed, turns and looks, beats it off. Now Miller facing Chalmers. Harley by Robinson off the baseline short. And Brandon Rush up there again. Boy, Brandon Rush. When he uncoils, he gets so long, he can get up with all his time on the court. There's Rush, had it knocked loose and a foul called on Ryan Anderson, the first foul of the ballgame.
Interesting, that last possession for Nebraska seemed like the Cornhuskers were determined to get a shot for Steve Harley. For Doc Sadler, Steve Harley's coming off of his career high at 15 points against Baylor. He will be crucial to the Cornhuskers being able to score today.
Russell Robinson keys it inbounds to Brandon Rush. Marich jumped out to help on him. Chalmers. March helping again. Now they go inside to Darnell Jackson. There he goes.
Yeah, Doc Sadler's not going to be pleased with that defense. There's been no rotation on the backside. He is all over Ryan Anderson. If Alex March on the screen is going to hedge, that means you step out and you help on the ball screen. Watch March step out. But then on the backside, someone has to rotate down and help the helper. March has to have the confidence that if I step out and help on the screen, somebody better pick up my man on the backside. Ryan Anderson, that was not very good defense.
Darnell Jackson having a great senior year. Really has stepped it up this year for the Jayhawks. A senior from Oklahoma City, averaging 13 points a game, had 21 points and 11 rebounds here Wednesday night when KU beat Iowa State. Kansas coming in at 19-0, 4-0 in the Big 12. Nebraska 11-5, 0-3 in the conference. Kansas beat them earlier this year on January 12th, 79-58 in Lincoln. 106 consecutive sellout here in Allen Fieldhouse. Watching this one. Henry. Anderson, Henry, quick move to Miller. Nice crossover dribble, and the shot won't fall. Dribbled a little quick there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Interesting to watch and see whether Nebraska is going to commit to try to take away the transition game for Kansas. Not sending anybody to the offensive boards. That time, 4 red shirts got back on the shot.
Iowa State tried it here Wednesday night with some success. Got beat by 21, but what happened was KU just pounded them in the half court.
Choose your poison. That's the difficulty when you play this Kansas team. Yeah, I was just critical of Ryan Anderson. That time, great defense on Jarrell Arthur down at the post.
Anderson, good. From 3-point range, Ryan Anderson's first bucket.
Anytime you talk about a mismatch size-wise, the mismatch is a double-edged sword. Ryan Anderson needs to take Arthur out, but there's the problem. The length of Jarrell Arthur, it is just too easy to come down and throw the ball over the top of the defense.
You said choose your weapon. Remember Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, we were going to fight. The guy said, guns or knives, Butch? And he said, how about neither?
I wasn't born then.
Ouch. I'm okay. We have time out here. I'll recover. And we'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. Season-long Champion Apparel will be showcasing the tradition and history of the Big 12. And today, we look at the Rock Chalk Chant, the battle cry of Kansas fans for more than 100 years. The chant was penned by a chemistry professor for his science club. The yell was patterned after a train accelerating down the track, and the chalk referred to the limestone formations in this area. Champion, it's how you play. Jayhawk, boy, they rock them and chalking in this arena lots and lots of times. All the tradition in this Kansas program. We read a stat, Chris Tyson this morning, every senior class here for 20 years has walked out of here with at least 100 wins. Long try won't go.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous statistic. You stop and think about that one a second. I'm not very good at math. That means you're averaging 25 wins per season for your entire career? Yeah. Awesome.
Robinson feeds it to the corner. Brandon Rush short with a try, and Cookie Miller at 5'7", grabs the rebound, pushes it. Fired it off on the wing to Steve Harley. Marriage had it knocked loose from behind. The big guy put it on the floor, and Russell Robinson took it away.
If you're a big guy and you don't know what to do with the ball, the answer is not dribble, or else it's going to be a turnover basket, Kansas.
You like what Brandon Rush just did after the miss? Go right back to the same shot and stick it?
You just cannot put the ball on the floor if you're not going somewhere against Kansas. They are too good and too quick defensively. There's Steve Harley not even looking to Alex March.
Down inside, tries to make a move, turns to his left, the shot won't go. Back comes Kansas.
Nobody going to the offensive boards.
Little pass a little too tall that time for Darnell Jackson. There's Doc Sadler, the Nebraska coach in his second year. We'll talk about folksy. He is, isn't he?
Yeah, right now, Alex Marsh doesn't think he's too folksy. I think he would use a different adjective.
Yeah, well, he would.
Yeah,
how about angry?
If you can't like Doc Sadler sitting down with him, the problem is with you. It's not him. He is one of the most colorful characters we've got in college basketball.
Harley just threw it up over his head and is fouled as he drove to the bucket. Bill Self, Kansas coach. This is his 5th year here. 124 and 29. He's averaged over 23 wins a year.
Best winning percentage, 81, of any coach in Kansas history.
That's not too bad.
No, that's not too bad.
All of them except James Naismith have had winning records. He invented the game and had the only losing record here. That's been a well-documented fact that startles a lot of people.
I think people don't realize the 3rd most wins of all active coaches. I'm not sure Bill Self is really recognized for where he should be when you start talking about coaching hierarchies across the country. He is on the very, very short list of the very best.
Came out of a pretty good coaching tree.
Good skip pass.
Chalmers down the baseline, floats it up there, won't go. Sasha Khan tried to tip it. Nebraska takes it away. 13-5 Kansas here in Allen Fieldhouse. Bounce pass. Harley right back out to Anderson. Cross court. Guro gives it up in a long, long try from Ryan Anderson. No, Sharon Collins pushing the offense. Chalmers driving the baseline. Back in the lane to Khan, and he got hammered.
Here's the problem for Doc Sadler. I mean, you're talking about down there, if you don't send anybody to the offensive boards, you better get back because Bill Self's team will run it all the way down, and immediately Doc Sadler says, look, that's not going to work. Either offensive rebound and go to the boards or get back and stop transition. But when you don't do either, you're in for a long day.
Look at the winningest coaches since 99 and 2000. Krzyzewski, Williams, Self, Billy Donovan, and Mark Dia Gonzaga, whose team is losing at Memphis today.
Is that an impressive list? You know, that goes back to, I'm not sure if you asked the average basketball fan that question, I'm not sure he would come up in a trivia question with Bill Self as number 3.
Or Mark Few in there, and somebody might say, well, who is Few? Well, he's a coach that's built a program at Gonzaga that's a national power. Bill Self, a graduate of Oklahoma State. Was an assistant coach here at Kansas at one time, as well as an assistant at Oklahoma State. J.R. Strobridge. John Ping is in the lineup for Nebraska now, wrestling down inside with Darrell Arthur. Almost walked with it, puts it on the floor, trying to get rid of it, and that's going to be a travel. He went in the air, ball came out of there, and he came down and grabbed it again. John Ping from China, a 6'10 junior. Played at Illinois Central Community College. Word is that he was playing a pickup game, and the players at Illinois Central saw him and said, Coach, you better come take a look.
Yeah, I saw a lot of rec ball. I didn't see a guy like Sean Ping. I didn't see any 6'10 players out there. A smart coach. He went and looked. It's interesting, talk to Doc Sadler about his 6'10" junior from China. And he says, you know, the game is just so different in China. A big adjustment, especially when you come to Allen Fieldhouse.
Darrell Arthur grabs his 7th point, 15-5, Kansas by 10. Not surprisingly, early on here at Allen Fieldhouse, where very, very few teams get off to good starts in ball games. The idea now is to hang in if they can for Nebraska, try to keep it about here. Sasha Khan knocks it loose from Strobridge. Collins with an easy layup. Kansas just doesn't let up on you on defense.
Yeah, if you run over a on-the-ball screen for Kansas, you're going to get double-teamed, and it's really almost forgivable from a guard to come off of an on-the-ball screen and let a 6'11" Sasha Khan strip you of the ball. You got to know that they're going to double. You've got to protect the ball, and if they double you, instead of trying to turn the corner, you suck the double team out, and you bring the double team out as far as you can to midcourt and open it up for your other players.
That was the 4th steal for Kansas. Hey, golf fans and club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com to sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifying site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. And if you are willing to bid large sums of money, you could land Reed Gillis as a partner. You'll have to outbid several wealthy Texans for the honor. Number 2 guy might get Tiger.
Or you could just take your money, get up to 70 miles an hour, and throw it out the window. That would be about the same effect.
Speaking of Tiger Woods,
there's that double team again. I mean, if you're going to set an on-the-ball screen, you've got to know Kansas is going to double you. If you set the screen, go straight to the middle of the court and find that man, and then you got numbers going to the basket. But don't act surprised you're going to get double teamed. Sorry, I interrupted Tiger Woods.
Well, Tiger seems to have shaken off the wintertime for us. Yeah. Shot 65 yesterday, has a 4-shot lead. Terrell Arthur working down. Fadeaway jumper won't go. And the rebound to Strobridge for Nebraska. It was Daganero, excuse me. Now the pass deflected out of bounds. And again, Kansas with a hand on the ball. And we have timeout. 11:43 left on our first half. The Jayhawks lead Nebraska by a dozen here in Lawrence. All right. Thank you, Doug. There you see Kansas by a dozen. They're on a 9-0 run. They've had 5 steals in this ball game and 10 points off those 5 steals. Nebraska without a point off a turnover. And Kansas doing what Kansas does so well on this court. At home, they just pound people early in ball games.
It's interesting as you look at the graphic on the unbeatens. I wonder what Memphis' record would look like if they had to play Kansas State twice, if they had to play at A&M, at Texas, play Baylor. Certainly no comparison between Conference USA and the Big 12 this year.
Ade Daganero just got loose and scored on a layup. Well, I have to think it would be a little bit different. I mean, you really can't know. But the one knock on Memphis this year has been that they just don't play a very difficult schedule. On the other end, I've talked to a couple of people who've seen them, basketball guys who say they're really good.
Yeah, they just destroyed a very good Gonzaga team today. They are very good, very reliant upon extremely good shooting. A team like that can go cold, as opposed to a team like Kansas that relies on a nice balance of inside attack and perimeter basketball.
Alex Morris just committed his second foul. Ryan Anderson has 1 for Nebraska. Reed, you mentioned the shooting and how it can go cold. The most constant should be defense. And Kansas is really good defensively. Plus, they don't have to rely on outside shooting. We mentioned earlier, they can play about any way you want to play. You want to play half court? They're good. 8 points now for Terrell Arthur, the 6'9" sophomore from Dallas, South Oak Cliff High School.
16 points against Iowa State in just 19 minutes. Leads the Jayhawks in scoring and block shots. I was surprised. Only 2 double-doubles for Terrell Arthur this year.
Well, they have such great balanced scoring here at Kansas. They have all those guys averaging in double figures. Arthur at 13, Jackson at 13. Brandon Rush, a dozen.
Boy, they are so good defensively in that game.
And Cookie Miller got it back for the second time, but in tall traffic couldn't find a shot. And here comes KU. Russell Robinson bounced at the con, and he just takes it to the rim and can't score. And now a block. Here comes Cookie Miller for Nebraska. Well, he's fun to watch.
He is fun to watch. He'd have done better to bring that ball out after he got the steal. He acted like he had to get that shot up. Better job recognizing the double team.
Lander, Daganero in the corner to Cookie Miller, and a foul on Brandon Rush.
Here's what we're talking about on defense for Kansas. Watch the on-the-ball screen. Sasha Khan steps out, and look how everyone else zones up. And after they've done it 3 or 4 times, you can't act surprised by it. You got to know they're going to double the ball and go hot, and everyone else has to rotate and get yourself open. Quit trying to dribble through the double team. Pull it back and suck the defense to you.
Jackson with the rebound. of a Ryan Anderson miss, and on comes Kansas. Robinson moved right by Cookie Miller and had it knocked loose in the lane, and a foul call on Nebraska. This ESPN Plus game is brought to you by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Boy, Doc Sadler is furious over on the sideline. I mean, he is absolutely livid. He's looking up at the scoreboard saying, hey, call it the same on both ends. I'm not sure what he's so upset about. A reach foul, perhaps.
Brandon Rush with a long tray from the deep corner. He has 9 on 3 3-point buckets.
Yeah.
A couple of games ago, Bill Self challenged Brandon Rush to get more aggressive, and he heard the challenge and answered it. Now foul on Russell Robinson as they try to go the other way.
I'm not so sure that's not an ongoing theme for Brandon Rush in his entire career. I'm not so sure that sometimes he is too unselfish.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't think this is unique about Kansas. See if you agree with this. Most good teams have a go-to guy. When the game's on the line at the end, they want that guy to have the ball. Try to pick out that guy for Kansas. They got choices. They got options.
I'd rather have options, because if you have one go-to guy, then defensively, that's who you key on, and suddenly you put someone in a position they're not used to.
Some people would tell you Mario Chalmers has been very quiet in this game. Some would tell you Rush. Some would tell you somebody else.
Now, Bill Self describing this year's team. He says, last year you're always tinkering and adjusting based on how people played you. This year, it's not how they play us, it's who we are. And I like that approach. And what he's saying is, look, you have Julian Wright out there. And depending on what the defense did, sometimes he was a point forward, sometimes he was a wing. You know what, this year, we're just going to be Kansas. And you adjust to us. We're not going to do a whole lot of adjusting. We're going to come out and make you stop us. And an awful lot of good coaches have had success with that same philosophy. Think of John Wooden and the UCLA teams, and that was their approach. The coach I played for, Guy Lewis, was a big advocate of that philosophy. We're going to come out and play our way.
That foul on Cookie Miller, and Doc Sadler are still upset and yelling at an official over there. Well, Guy Lewis had you and a couple of other guys.
Yeah, I think it's the couple other guys that you should emphasize.
John Wooden did the same thing.
Yep.
Of course, he had a few guys.
Russell Robinson has been so solid this year as you look at those numbers, 5 assists, 7 points. Again, perennially one of the best defenders in all of the conference. Number 2 in steals behind only his teammate Mario Chalmers.
15-point lead for Kansas. 9:09 left in the first half. Cookie Miller on the dribble. He's playing with 2 fouls. Marich is on the bench with 2 right now. Cookie Miller. Oh, what a move. What a move, and he stuck it. Cookie.
That's unfair. Darnell Jackson took him on the switch and almost got his ankles broken. Watch this crossover. I mean, you talk about gorgeous. Look how low he is to the ground when he crosses over. Look at that ball. That ball's not 4 inches off the ground. That's beautiful.
I'll say this, had he shot it from the right elbow, Darnell would have been there.
Oh, my goodness. I don't understand how a kid averages 4 points per game at home. You come into an arena like this, and, man, it's like a green light goes off. Averages 14 points per game on the road.
First point today from Mario Chalmers. Chalmers leading the Big 12 Conference in assist-turnover ratio. Chalmers this year with 86 assists and only 21 turnovers.
Well, in the last 5 games, he also has a 5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, just like Cookie Miller. That's an astronomical number. 2-to-1 is good. 2.5-to-1 will lead the conference. 3-to-1 is out of sight, but 5-to-1 is I run out of adjectives.
J.R. Slowbridge, Lander, Anderson.
Well, not even looking inside right now. Chris Mullins down there, and he's wide open, and the Cornhuskers not even looking to him.
Anderson missed. Kansas with the rebound. Kansas 4 out of 13, or Nebraska under 4 out of 14 from the floor. Jayhawks are 8 for 16. So Nebraska needing to shoot it well on the road, not. Cole Aldrich off the bench. Turnaround jump shot for Aldrich, the 6'11 freshman from Minnesota.
Now that's bad defense. Chris Ballum lost sight of Cole Aldrich and allowed him just to step right in front of him, in front of the rim. That's not very good defense.
Cole Aldrich Looks like a player out of the 50s, doesn't it, with that cut out there?
Tell you what, you look at how broad his shoulders are. He is going to be a beast when they put about another 40 pounds on him. That is a nice take down the baseline by Steve Harley.
His first bucket of the ball game, 25-11, Kansas up by 14 with 7:34 left in the first half. One of a full slate of games in the Big 12 Conference today. A&M at Oklahoma State. They tried to go over the top.
Much better that time. That time, Bond did a good job of knowing where his man was and the ball on the floor.
Chris Ballum from right down the road here, Kansas City, played at Shawnee Mission West, where our director Kevin Shank formerly starred. Anderson missed with a try. I'll tell you something you didn't know, Reed. That one time Kevin Shank on the football team ran the pink offense for him.
The pink
offense. Based on Kevin's speed. We have time out here. 6:49 left in first half action. The Jayhawks up by 14 over Nebraska. We're back after this from your friend at Phillips 66.
Irish eyes are smiling. Notre Dame comes up big against Villanova. Luke Herringody with the slam. Irish win by 10, and A&M leads Oklahoma State 7-6 in Stillwater. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Doug. Jayhawks by 14 here. We have 6:49 left in the first half. KU jumped on them quick. Seems like it just happens game after game here. Kansas just gets off to great starts here.
Now, that's the key right there, is points off of turnovers. They've got 10 points, and that's one of the reasons they are shooting such a high percentage here in the first half. Brandon Rush has hit a couple of three-pointers. Other than that, Kansas getting most of their shots right at the rim.
How about this? Kansas averaging 83 points a game. That's 10th in the nation. They're number 1 in the nation in scoring margin. Their average win, 24 points a game. Number 1 in the nation scoring defense. Number 1 in the conference, excuse me, in scoring defense. Darnell Jackson with a miss. Nebraska's good defensively, too.
Yeah, they're real good. Number 4 in the country scoring defense. Number 6 in the country in field goal percentage defense. They've been great. I don't understand why Nebraska's not throwing it to March. They've got the floor spread. There's no one in there. He's stepping in, and they're just not throwing it to him.
And he's matched up with a freshman right now in Cole Aldridge. But they haven't got it to him yet. Now Harley's going to take a jump on this block. Aldridge picks it up. Boy, March took a swipe at the ball.
And that would have been his 3rd foul. Ooh.
At the other end, Chalmers driving hard, can't come up with it. The other way we go. Sec Henry off to Dagunduro, down to Harley, and he's blocked by Aldridge. Now Dagunduro with a turnaround shot. No, and Darnell Jackson had it, and when he's got it, and now he's going to be fouled by Harley. Steve Harley got a hand on him. Hey, when Darnell's got it, maybe you just want to let it go.
I hear what you're saying, but really you're on the road and you're down 15 this early in the game. You got to show some fight, and I think that's what Steve Harley is doing, that he's sticking his arm in there and poking at the ball. Just make sure you don't get one of those big elbows across the side of your face.
Okay, but go over the bench and pick out a little guy to fight with. Yeah. Darnell Jackson may not be the guy to pick on. 6'8", big and strong. Now Aldridge coming out. Sasha Khan coming back in. Khan's number of minutes reduced a little bit this year. He's playing 18 minutes a game. But boy, he's giving him great energy minutes coming off the bench. Playing better off the bench than he did as a starter.
Talk about playing better. Darnell Jackson, I'm not sure there's a more improved player anywhere in the country than Darnell Jackson.
Kansas has an Achilles heel that's at the free throw line. They're not shooting them well today. So.
Well, it's interesting. Nebraska the same way. Doc Sadler, that's the first thing he told us last night at his practice, that if we'd have made some free throws, we could be 2-1. They missed a ton of free throws.
Sharon Collins, boy, talk about 4 to win it. He knew right where his teammate Darnell Jackson was. He forced the action toward the baseline, then fed the ball backwards.
Transition, you must defend from the inside out, run to the paint and then defend out. Do not let a transition basket happen right in front of the basket.
The shot down in there was blocked. Maric picks it up and they go to the floor.
Sean Collins doing a good job attacking to the paint, but then look at the trailer right down the middle of the floor. That's a nice find by Sharon Collins. Well, that's somebody that the Jayhawks, if you wanted to pick one area that most noticeably jumps out at you as potential for improvement, it would be the play of Sharon Collins after all of the foot problems he's had earlier in the year. It would sure be great to get him going again.
He just battled that injury all year. Now March would have missed. Collins had that foot iced after practice yesterday. Bill Self says he's coming along. He just still doesn't have that explosive first step that he's so used to having. Robinson over the top, and there's Darrell Arthur. Pretty simple play, isn't it?
Yeah, it was simple because Sasha Khan flashed from the low side all the way up high and took away the defensive help. Watch as the flash, watch to the right of your screen. As Sasha Khan comes up, you see Alex March come up also. That leaves nobody on the weak side. That is a terrific set and great recognition by Kansas.
Just simplify it. Throw it over the top to your big guy. Let's take a look now at our Big 12 leaders, brought to you by Chevy and your local Chevy dealers. Darnell Jackson leading the league in field goal shooting percentage, followed by Blake Griffin, Alex March, Michael Beasley, and Damari Carroll. Michael Beasley averaging a double-double for Kansas.
You know, Fred, it's interesting. You see league leader Darnell Jackson. You look at these Jayhawks individually, and the numbers and statistics are not that impressive. They don't have anybody in the top 10 in scoring, in the top 15 in scoring. They only have one player, Darnell Jackson, number 7 in the top 10 in rebounding. So individually, you look at their numbers, not very impressive. On the other hand, collectively, you put their numbers together, and it is extremely impressive. 83 points per game. The scoring margin, you talked about 24. They lead the league in blocks. You see the assists. You put these individuals together, and boy, what a basketball team this is.
Well, they have 4 guys averaging 12 or 13 points a game. Down low, Payton got the shot blocked and a held ball. Look what Kansas has done to Alex March so far today.
Yeah, I was just about to say, one of my favorite players to watch, it may surprise you, has really been Sasha Khan this year. He is a tough matchup for Alex March because Sasha Khan doesn't take his face. He's big, and you look at that body. I mean, he is ripped, he's strong, and he doesn't take Alex March's face. And so March up fakes, and Sasha Khan just bellies up, and that is a tough matchup.
Khan goes strong to the rim, but he missed the dunk.
I'm telling you right now, Sasha Khan's the type of kid who can play in the NBA for about 15 years.
Big, strong guy, runs the floor well. And he's really, I mentioned it earlier, he's getting him better minutes off the bench than he gave him as a starter, playing with good energy coming off the bench. Daganduro takes it in the lane, and Long got it back. Sean Ping missed the shot. We've got a break coming up after the foul call. 3:50 left in our first half. Kansas up by 20.
Here in Stillwater today, a huge game. The #1 team in the country, they roll at home. And Stacy will answer your email questions. Keep them coming. Back out to Reed and Fred. See you at the half.
Thanks, Reed. I got a question for you after that A&M Baylor game, 5 overtimes the other night. A&M at Oklahoma State. Baylor has Oklahoma. How much of a hangover will they get from that game?
I don't know. You know, the real concern is, and Doug just talked about it, that Oklahoma State A&M game. Those are two teams that are both 1 and 3, not off to good starts, and both of them extremely desperate for a win. But man, oh man, can you even imagine 5-0? If you're announcing that game, do you get paid game and a half? Oh boy, you'd have to. You got a good basis for it.
Everybody should have been tired after
the numbers were mind-boggling. Baylor had 70 rebounds. A&M had 59 free throw attempts. A historic game for the Big 12.
How about the fact there were 97 points scored collectively in the overtime period? Sean Payne missed them both. He's 11 for 26 at the free throw line this year.
The last 3 minutes, Doc Sadler switching to a zone. That's primarily to keep Cookie Miller from picking up an unnecessary third foul here in the first half.
He doesn't play much zone, does he?
He doesn't like it.
Collins. Sharon Collins kicks it off. Russell Robinson. Back to Collins in the corner. Brandon Rush puts it on the floor against Sek Henry and stuck the jump shot. And he has 11 points in this contest.
Boy, that is tough to defend. Sek Henry could not have guarded that much better. Cut him off, got his shoulders in front of Brandon Rush. Brandon Rush just steps back, leans back, and that's tough to stop.
Robinson just took it away from Strobridge, and Strobridge fouls him. The first on Strobridge. Phillips 66 is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Hey, the next time you're on empty, fill up with Phillips 66 gasoline. Specially formulated to clean fuel injectors, increase performance, and above all, help maximize mileage. Phillips 66 is hard-working gas. Russell Robinson.
Don't know if the right description is an unsung hero, but I'm not sure Russell Robinson is fully appreciated for the role that he plays on this team. I know he is here in Lawrence, but number 2 in steals in the Big 12. He's 4th in assists. He's in the top 10 in assist to turnover ratios. Oh, he is a good one.
And he and Mario Chalmers are number 1 and 2 in the conference in steals. I'll tell you who does appreciate him. I'll bet anybody that plays against him.
You see that bench over there, you see that head coach, and I guarantee you everybody over there appreciates what Russell Robinson does. He's just so solid. He's fundamentally sound. He makes solid decisions on both ends of the court.
Doesn't care if he scores or not. Averages 7 points and 5 assists a game. He and Chalmers together average 9.5 assists a game. How's that for a combination? Down inside, Daganduro got...
Yeah, but that was a much better offensive possession for Nebraska. Cookie Miller recognized the double team. A quick pass caused Kansas to rotate. Another quick pass to the baseline and attack the basket. Much better execution by the Cornhuskers.
Ade Daganduro, free throw good. A junior from Inglewood, California. Played at Antelope Valley Community College. He's 6'5". Averages 10 points a game.
He's athletic. He brings a lot of energy. Earlier this season, he was the Phillips 66 Rookie of the Week, and really kind of the prototypical player that Doc Sadler is attempting to rebuild this program with. Long, athletic, high-energy guys. Oh, what a great screen by Sasha Khan. What a great screen. He turned around and sealed Alex March, and you could have driven a semi-truck through the middle of the lane.
Terrell Arthur now. In double figures in points. Down low it goes to March, and Sasha Khan fouled him. Sasha Khan's first foul.
Fred, watch Sasha Khan turn and screen Alex March right in the middle of your screen. He comes in and screens him, and look at this space. You can't run a zone defense. I mean, you talk about a defense looking like a donut. Holy cow, was the middle of the floor wide open. Now, unsung things like setting screens against zone defenses, Sasha Khan excels at.
Alex March free throw off the heel there, and he has yet to score in this ball game. The Huskers' leading scorer, averaging 17 points. The top returning scorer and rebounder in the Big 12 Conference this year, the senior from Sydney, Australia. And he has been shut out so far today by Kansas and foul trouble.
You know, he's unquestionably the leader of these Cornhuskers, and you're talking about that he struggled today. He has struggled the last 2 games. Against Baylor, he had 24 points, but was just 6 for 18 from the floor.
Kansas with the ball and a 24-point lead with 2:19 left in the first half. They have a 24-point lead. That's what they've averaged beating opponents by this year. Arthur Collins drives it into the lane. Oh, what a nice blind pass to Jackson to Rush in the corner, and another tray, the 4th for Brandon Rush. He has 14 points.
It all started with a good penetration by Shawn Collins, but then the unselfishness of Darnell Jackson. Throw it in there. Golly. Alex March is going to slap his guards. He steps in there and needs the ball.
Now March drew a triple team, missed the shot. Sek Henry had the ball for a moment, couldn't hold it. Here comes Kansas, up by 27. Chalmers to Sharon Collins, pass block. Henry over the top they go, but it was off target, but picked off the glass by Darnell Jackson, and the ball is out of bounds to Kansas with 20 seconds to shoot, 1:26 left in the half. Chris Balla back on the floor.
This is a good substitution by Doc. He's trying to keep Alex March from picking up a cheap 3rd foul with just 1:26 to go. Good coaching.
Inbounds to Jackson, to Rush. Henry challenged rush. Give it up to Chalmers to the corner to Collins. In the lane he goes with a floater and they hit it. Fourth point for Chiron.
Gee whiz, I mean, how many different guys on this roster can hurt you? It's like, who do you stop?
Cookie Miller. Henry. From the deep corner, Cookie Miller, the miss and the rebound to Brandon Rush, who falls to the floor but keeps his dribble.
What a curly kneel imitation.
Yeah. 46 seconds left in the half and 26 to shoot. Brandon Rush. Down low, Darnell Jackson over the top to Arthur, and he scores. Whoa.
Yeah, they are picking this zone apart. The two places you want to attack a zone is the short corner and the high post. And right now, Kansas getting just about any shot they want.
14 for Darrell Arthur and a 31-point lead for Kansas. Anderson down low to Ballum and miss. And it's on the floor out of bounds to Nebraska. This ESPN Plus game is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Wow. Nebraska, a minute 35 to go at halftime and 13 points.
44-13 Kansas.
13 points in the first half. It's tough to win a basketball game, partner, when you get 13 points at halftime.
Anderson. Daganduro. Nice spin move, and he kind of throws it up and gets it. Ade Daganduro has 6 of Nebraska's 15. Mario Chalmers off the glass, no good. 3 bodies hit the floor. And are they okay? Mario Chalmers was looking up and he's smiling. He's okay. Nebraska, the last time here in 07, scored 17 in the second half. Today, 15 in the first half. And Kansas leads by 44-15 at halftime. The Hawks up by 29, and we will take you from Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas, to Studio 66 in Paradise.
Fred, welcome everyone to Paradise. We're watching this game. Nebraska a little overwhelmed. And let me say this, defensively, the Huskers, surely they could do a better job. I mean, some of those are just wide open layups, uncontested.
Well, they need to do a better job. And right now, you look at the size difference. Kansas big guys are just having their way inside with Nebraska. Nebraska's going to have to come out, maybe go to a zone and try to slow this Kansas team down. But it's like a football score right now, 44-15. Wow.
Yeah, they are stunned. They're in shock right now. It's going to be a long second half for Nebraska. Meantime, Mark Turgeon, it's been a long start to the Big 12 season for the first-year coach at Texas A&M, watching Ibrahima Thomas get open for the slam, the young freshman for Oklahoma State. Then Dominique Kirk, they need more of this, Stace. Kirk's solid from the outside.
Well, he's got to take over that role AC Law had last year and be that scoring guard. He likes to play, be unselfish, but they're going to need him to score.
There's the score early on. Boy, this is a huge game. You hate to see it's a must this early in the season, but it's very important. 20-18 Oklahoma State right now.
Well, Texas A&M's got to do a better job defensively. Oklahoma State has struggled in times trying to score, but this Texas A&M team, they need this game right now. This is a game they should win. We'll see what they do in the second half.
It's going to be fun to watch that game. Kansas, Nebraska will not be a fun second half. When we come back, we'll tell you about the #1 team in the country. Looks like Kansas will stay #2. Certainly, Tigers roared today at home. It was a dunk fest. And Billy Gillespie, what the heck is going on in Bluegrass country? Highlights next.
Stu from Stillwater. Identity revealed. Who has a challenge in March from Stacy?
I may run into Stacy. Don't tell him I'm Stu from Stillwater.
I tell you, not to oversimplify things about Kansas, but they're really good.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good defensively. I mean, they were so good in the first half defensively.
Let's take a look now at the Shelter Insurance first half highlights.
Yeah, they ended up with 7 steals. 3 from Russell Robinson, 2 from Rush, 2 from Sasha Khan, all leading to easy baskets. And then on the offensive end, Brandon Rush came into the game shooting 52% in the last 4 games. In the first half, he was 4 for 5 from behind the line.
Shelter Insurance for your auto, home, and life. Seek Shelter today. Huskers have the ball to start the second half. They scored 1 field goal in the last 7 minutes, 43 seconds of the first half. KU on a 19-4 run to end the first half of action here. Kansas on track to be 20-1 the year, and they take it away Brandon Rush turned down a shot and now intercepted by Harley. Harley on a run out against Chalmers, and Chalmers
what a play.
shot.
Yeah, but nice job hustling down the floor by Sek Henry. Never assume your teammate's going to make a layup. Always go follow.
Sek Henry's first points of the day, so Nebraska, after the turnover, scores first to start the second half, and they get the steal. Ryan Anderson against Darnell Jackson. Just lobbed it up there, couldn't get it. Jackson, good defense. Back comes Kansas.
If you're in that situation, you're Ryan Anderson, stop and shoot a jump shot. You don't have to go all the way into Darnell Jackson. Stop out about 5 feet, take a shot.
Russell Robinson with a 3 to start the second half. That's his first field goal and his 6th point of the game. 19 minutes left in the game. We are just underway in the second half. And a 30-point lead to Kansas here. Kansas just continually taking the ball away. Jackson, they're going to leave him alone, and he's going to miss the shot. Dorell Arthur underneath had it knocked loose, taken back by Nebraska.
Listen, if you're Nebraska, all you can do is go in at halftime and say, okay, forget it. The score's 0-0. Let's come out and be competitive. And they are showing some fire coming out here in the second half.
Anderson down low. Maric looking for his first points of the game. Doesn't get him. Maric missed the shot inside, a little turnaround hook.
Yeah, but it's a good shot. It's the first time Alex has taken a shot without a dribble or two before. The last time he puts it down on the floor. That was a shot pass, but it wasn't very pretty.
Tried to get it to Darnell Jackson, to Dorell Arthur. Now Cookie Miller at 5'7" takes it into the tall timber and scores.
Boy, he is excited.
His 6th point of the game.
A nice building piece for Doc Sadler. 5'7" freshman out of Charleston, West Virginia as a player.
Robinson, Rush, Jackson against Maric, turns, faces him, puts it on the floor. Harley had a hand on it. Now Chalmers inside, deep in the corner. Rush, stop.
Boy, 5 3-pointers. I watched Kansas practice at that position on the floor for probably 20 minutes yesterday. Anytime somebody dribbles baseline on the opposite side of the floor, somebody is going to float to that corner.
17 points for Brandon Rush. Robinson with a foul. This ESPN Plus game is brought to you by Whataburger. Just like you like it. Sounding pretty good right now, too.
Yeah, it is.
You'd do 2 of those in a hurry, wouldn't you?
Oh, in a heartbeat. I'd drive through there and get a number 9 taquitos breakfast every day. Are you kidding me?
Cookie Miller on the line. 5'7" freshman.
Outstanding free throw shooter normally, 82% for the season. He's the only freshman ranked in the top 10 this year in steals, assists to turnovers, and assists. He's a player, partner.
From Capital High School in Charleston, West Virginia, and played at Harmony Community College in Ohio. Dorell Arthur. Brandon Rush. Kansas now in the half-court game where they're just as good as they are running with it. Robinson. On a give and go to Darnell Jackson. Missed it, but got the tip in, scores, and he's fouled.
That's the same thing we talked about in the first half. This is a terrific pass off the screen. Darnell Jackson sets a big, wide screen, and if you're going to help off of it, somebody's got to help the guy roll into the basket. Right then, it's Alex Maric is a step too slow getting over there. That's actually Ryan Anderson who's a step slow getting over there. Again, if you're going to commit to helping on the ball screens and hedge, you've got to trust your teammates on the backside to rotate. If they don't, you're not going to be very successful.
Read, one of the oldest plays in basketball, the pick and roll. Is there a better play in basketball?
Nope.
I mean, hey, such a great play. Cut off the post, little pick and roll.
Especially when you have agile big men like Kansas does. You have guys that can set strong screens, they have the ability to pick and pop and also pick and roll.
Robinson, Jackson, over the top. Arthur put it on the floor, double fake, got double teamed. Arthur scores anyway.
That is an impossible matchup for Ryan Anderson. At 6'4" you're just going to have a hard time fronting 6'9" Dorell Arthur.
16 points for Dorell Arthur, the sophomore from Dallas.
But you're interesting, Bill Self told us that he felt like Doc Sadler was just one more big guy away from being an extremely good team. Who has some slap in the arm?
Boy, Harley. Now he got it back and scores down inside. Steve Harley, his 4th point of the day.
Steve Harley's a feisty player, 5'11" junior out of South Plains Community College.
Well, let's talk about the Huskers. Doc Sadler making his play for the future has redshirted 4 players this year. Darnell Jackson scores, his 11. But Doc Sadler taking a page out of a past Husker book when they redshirted Eric Piatkowski and a bunch of players, and it paid for him. Well, Doc Sadler doing that same thing with 4 players this year.
And he's got 4 good ones that are redshirted. And the temptation when you're struggling is to look down that bench and go, let's go ahead and put him in, because he's got some players that are sitting over there on the bench in sweatsuits that would certainly help his offensive production.
Chalmers off target. Ryan Anderson with the rebound. Kansas up by 35, matching the biggest lead of the game. Ballman had it down inside, almost didn't take the shot, now does. Tried to get a little closer than close, and succeeded. Chalmers. Brandon Rush.
Good defense.
Good defense. Taken away by Ryan Anderson. Harley down the lane, and it's going to be a blocking foul on Kansas. 14:40 left in this contest. Kansas up by 31, and we'll be back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. And Kansas cruising, leading 57-26. They were up 44-15 at halftime.
In practice, Bill Self talks about a no-catch zone on the court. They lay down tape in practice, and this is the no-catch zone. When you play Nebraska, it is especially important. They emphasize no one catches the ball in the paint. Watch right here, a good job by Darnell Jackson coming around and preventing that pass. When you don't do a good job in the no-catch zone, look where Alex Marks catches the ball. He's got 1 foot in the paint, and it is an easy jumper. Now, he misses the shot, and one of the reasons he's missed that shot is because that no-catch zone has been so difficult for March to get in and get the ball today. He has been frustrated, and Kansas has done a terrific job keeping the ball out of that zone.
Harley with the free throw has 5 points. He sits down now. On the lineup is Paul Valander for Nebraska. When you said he emphasizes that, it goes a little beyond emphatic, doesn't it? He really preaches it.
You know, it's interesting, Bill Self. You would think the temptation would be for this Kansas team. They have been so dominant. They have been pushed so seldom with their 24-point margin of victory. You say, how does he keep the pressure on the guys? How does he keep focus? How does he keep them concentrating? I tell you what, you watch Bill Self run a practice, and he keeps them focused. It's a nice balance between the kids are smiling and having fun. But, boy, you talk about intense. And he was furious with them yesterday over the defense as they worked on that no-catch zone.
He coaches the Dickens out of this team night after night after night, and no little thing gets past him. Now Kansas turns it over. Cookie Miller trying to push the pace. Picked up there by Chalmers. Marich inside out to Ballham, and a foul call.
See, that's perfect. That's the no-catch zone that even if you throw it in there, even if Marich doesn't score, it causes the defense to collapse around him. Watch when he catches the ball and look at all the white shirts. Well, that opens it up for a teammate. Look at 1, 2, 3, and a 4th one coming in, and it just opens up the dive to the basket. And when the offensive team can catch the ball in that zone, usually good things are going to happen for them.
Chris Ballham's 3rd point of the day. And Ballham gets them both down. He has 4 points. The sophomore from Kansas City's Shawnee Mission West High School. Chalmers, Arthur. Roderick Stewart in the game now. Sasha Khan threw it away.
The guy in the 5th row had a wide open shot.
I wonder if the guy didn't see the result of that. Did the guy catch it clean? Because he may be a guy that sits there and yells at players. He better have caught that one clean. Cookie Miller up for Nebraska. Collins with him. Now chases him down again. Valander, he's a shooter. That one won't fall. And the rebound to Cole Aldrich. Lost it momentarily. Picked up by Roderick Stewart. Collins, now Stewart, now Collins from the deep corner. Good. Ron Collins.
That's a big basket by Sean Collins. Did you see the poise and balance? He caught it, looked down to make sure his heels weren't going to come down on the out of bounds. Only shooting 34% from behind the line this season, Sean Collins.
Now Darrell Arthur.
Okay, but look, right there, Fred, that's what we were talking about in the first half. When you have a double team, if you pull it back, you suck two defenders all the way to half court. That creates more spacing, allows you to throw the ball to the top of the key or the middle, and then you attack the basket. Much better job that time by Cookie Miller.
Let me ask you this, Reed. Kansas up by 31. They've been winning big all day. Still 13 minutes to go in the game. Is this a tough coaching job for the coach whose team is ahead by this much to keep his team focused?
It's a whole lot better to be on that end of the court than on Doc Sadler's end.
Yeah, that's a given. Doc Enduro's shot, no.
Doc will say, I'll show you a tough coaching position today. I come sit in my seat.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. But the winning coach job is to keep his team focused. And he's been doing a great job of that all year long. Now at travel, Kansas turns it over. Hey, golf fans and club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com to sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifying site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. Now it's Tiger and nobody. They have a 4-shot lead going into today's round.
Great defense.
That was Roderick Stewart. The defense now blocked by Cookie Miller, the 5'7" guard. Where did he get up there?
He was way up over the rim. Holy cow.
Cookie Miller at 5'7".
That was awesome.
Block the shot. Now Maric double team, triple team. They get it back to Doc Enduro. He runs into Aldrich at the baseline and loses the ball to Darnell Jackson. Now Stewart. Now Russell Robinson. From the deep corner, Roderick Stewart misses the shot. And the ball scrambling and out of bounds.
Hey, watch Cookie Miller. I'm telling you, he is a foot over this rim. 5'7", and look at him get up. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. That's awesome. I mean, that's TJ Fordish. Whew, man.
5'7".
Hey, he's special. I'm telling you, you can build an awful good team when you've got a point guard that can play like that.
Stewart got it inside, rejected as Darnell Jackson. Maric helped double team him. And we've got a break here. 11:59 left in this game. The Jayhawks cruising up by 31 over Nebraska at the moment. There's Lou Perkins, the athletic director of Nebraska. He better be happy. I'll tell you what. This is the only school, Kansas, in Division I, whose football and basketball teams are ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, and he may have a little smile on his face coming from UConn with the news that Doug Bell just told us.
That could be too. Mark Mangino and his Jayhawk football team, what a terrific year. Just one loss. The winner in the Orange Bowl over Virginia Tech. Darnell Jackson misses the free throw.
Come on, Lou, you can smile. Everything's going good. Hey, I got a beef. You know, I've been in that studio for 2 weeks. Stacey King comes into the studio, and immediately they make a big deal about his 33 being retired and hanging in the rafters. And for 2 weeks, they have not mentioned that I wore number 44 at U of H, and that number's hanging from the rafters. It has been for years.
Well, I want to mention it right now. Number 44 at Houston. In the rafters.
They didn't even mention it. Of course, it says Elvin Hayes on the back of it, but my kids don't even know that jersey has a back.
No.
We walk in there and I look up and I say, kids, that's your dad's 44. I just think we ought to mention that.
What an honor that is.
Long overdue. I just, you know, we were talking about it last year. Can't imagine that Stacey King's jersey had not already been retired. Not retired, honored. I believe Alvin Adams wore 33 also, so there's 2 33s hanging from the rafters.
Lander knocked it down. Still 60-32 Kansas. We'll be with Stacey King in a couple of weeks up at Nebraska. Along the lane, Darnell Jackson puts it on the floor. Turnaround shot. Oh, how strong is it?
Yeah, that was real strong. Pretty good defense. I was thinking Bill Self's not going to be pleased with that shot, but I guess it's hard to be too upset when you make it.
He went up for the shot. Somebody got a hand on his arm, and he just took player basketball and everything up with him and scored.
Just terrific defense down here. Nebraska just ran a single double with a cross screen, and Kansas defended it perfectly.
Cookie Miller dropped the pass out of bounds. Now Bill Self getting a little deeper on the bench. Jeremy Case is coming in. Phillips 66 is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Big 12 basketball. The next time you're on empty, fill up with Phillips 66 gasoline. Specially formulated to clean fuel injectors, increase performance, and above all, help maximize mileage. Phillips 66, hard-working gas.
Fred, you mentioned earlier in our broadcast the fact that these seniors will be the next group to have an opportunity to win 100 games in their career. Well, the other thing that is special about Kansas is their ability to graduate players. Jeremy Case has entered the basketball game, and that's a nice pass from Cookie Miller. Jeremy Case is in the game, and he has already graduated. The other 4 seniors will walk the hill this spring.
Something to see over here when they do walk the hill of Mount Olivet. Stewart at the other end. Roderick Stewart can't knock down the layup. Ballman has it. And here comes Cookie Miller. Magic time. Cookie in the lane. Oh, he didn't quite get it down. Just getting that shot off was a terrific feat. And terrific hands, too, for that matter. Now, Revell Arthur coming back into the game. Mario Chalmers back on. Brandon Rush, Sasha Khan.
Let me ask you a question. If you're Doc Sadler, do you think it's an advantage to play Kansas twice in the first 2 weeks of the season, or do you think that's a disadvantage?
I think playing them at all is a disadvantage the way they're going right now. I know what you mean.
Condition it. If you have to play them twice, would you rather do it earlier in the schedule or later?
Twice in the same day. Get it out of the way.
That's like going to the dentist for a root canal. Let's just go in, give me my shot of Novocaine. And really, if you're Doc Sadler, your kids have played hard. They haven't quit. And you go back and you say, look, our season starts today. Today at 5 o'clock, you say, our season starts. We got this out of the way. Now you can get a little momentum and get on a run.
Ade Daganduro, Brandon Rush knocks it loose. Chalmers trying to control it and is fouled. Daganduro and Henry are both there with him. And I think that Daganduro got the foul. I think you're absolutely right. Now, you know what? And Doc Sadler knows there are better days ahead for his Huskers. We mentioned earlier they've redshirted 4 players this year. He has recruits coming in. He's had success everywhere he's been. Now Sasha Khan scores his first points of the game for Kansas.
Nice job attacking the basket. Sasha Khan finishing that shot all the way through the plane of the backboard.
Sasha is a senior from Russia and Melbourne, Florida in high school. Played at the Florida Air Academy. Pass through the hands of Ballum. Daganduro saves it. Outside, Sek Henry. Long try, and he got it.
That's a big basket. Sek Henry has struggled from the three-point line this year. That is only his 8th three-point field goal made, shooting just 28% behind the line.
Jeremy Case, Brandon Rush, 8:42 to play here in Lawrence. 27-point lead, Kansas. About to go to 20-0. Chalmers. Jeremy Case got a screen from Arthur. The shot a little off the front of the rim. Well, make it a lot off the front of the rim. And back comes Nebraska's Cookie Miller. Taken away. Brandon Rush. Nice bounce pass Case. Right back to Chalmers in the lane, and they get it. Chalmers' first bucket of the day. He has 3 points. Unselfish basketball and a big smile on Chalmers' face. Case 2. Why not? Nice play both ways.
You know, talking about the foundation that Doc Sadler is trying to establish, there on your right is Brandon Richardson. To the left is Tony McCray. Those are 2 of the talented freshmen that signed last year. Doc Sadler making the decision to redshirt to them. Along with Alonzo Edwards, they've got one at home, Alex Chapman. And I tell you what, if you're tough enough and you're committed enough and your athletic department, you have the support, it's a great blueprint for the total overhaul of this program. Doc Sadler signed 8 guys last year. He's got these 4 redshirted. He's signed 2 already. I mean, that is a massive overhaul when you talk about you only have 13 scholarships on a team.
Shot misses, rebounded Arthur. Long pass to Chalmers. Got one hand on it and saves it. Now Rush, now Case. The lob underneath the Khan, and they can't convert it. Well, You've been around this game a long time, a lifetime, Reed, and there's a nice shot at the other end by Harley. You hire a winner in Doc Sadler, who's won 196 games and only lost 76 in his career. Arthur down the lane with a left-hand scores. You owe it to him to be very patient, let him do it his way.
Well, listen, he inherited a program, and with the exception, and I don't want to be overly harsh, but with the exception of Alex March, the cupboard was empty. And it was really empty considering the way that Barry Collier played and the way Doc Sadler wants to play. It is a 2 to 3 to 4 year overhaul program, and really I think they're ahead of schedule. I think they are farther along than anyone had a right to dream that they would be. And they have not looked very good today. Set that aside. Not many people look good against the Kansas Jayhawks.
Arthur the miss. Boy, Alex Marsh, simply not his day. He hasn't scored. He is 0 for 6 from the floor.
I bet it has been a long time since Alex March has not scored. A little surprised to see Rush, Arthur, and Chalmers still in this basketball game.
We have a break here with 6:37 left in this game. Kansas leading Nebraska 68-39. We'll be back in Allen Fieldhouse. We'd like to take a moment to thank our Big 12 corporate partner, Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And the Chick-fil-A cow encourages you to eat more chicken. The last time Alex Marsh did not score in a game, the only time was in December of 2005 when he did not score against Florida State. And he has not scored yet today.
Now his numbers for the year, he has had a dominant season so far. His numbers rank up near the top of the Big 12 Conference in a lot of statistical categories. You've seen first in block shots and third in field goal percentage, rebounds, scoring, sixth, 0 points. He is 0 for the day. Now that's that no-catch zone. We talked about it, and Kansas has done a terrific job of not allowing him to catch the ball where he's comfortable. As a result of that, he has tried to dribble the ball a few too many times, and Kansas is just too good defensively for you to catch the ball in the post and be able to dribble it 3 times.
Harley with a drive is fouled, and he makes an off-balance shot. Steve Harley now has 7 points in this contest, and he will go to the free throw line.
Steve Harley is so good off of the dribble. Look at him go hard on baseline, and he's got a scorer's mentality.
Harley now with 8 points in the contest. The 5'11 junior from Temple Hills, Maryland. Now Tyrell Reed from tiny Burlington, Kansas in the game for Kansas. Down the baseline, Roderick Stewart all alone in the corner. Brandon Rush, a rare miss from that spot.
I love the way Kansas does that play. Anytime someone drives on the offside, drives baseline, the guy on the opposite side of the floor floats to the corner. It's about the 3rd shot we have seen from that spot on the floor. Nice defense, Mario Chalmers.
Mario Chalmers blocks the shot. 21 to shoot for Nebraska when they play it in. 5:44 left in this game. Kansas up by 26.
The chance for Connor Teahan going up.
Connor Teahan, the freshman from Kansas City, a crowd favorite here. Con, after Harley on the far side, is whistled for a foul.
There's Connor Teahan, 6'5" freshman out of Leawood, Kansas.
From Rockhurst High School on the Missouri side.
Connor Teahan's got a great story. His father had an opportunity to walk on at Kansas, turned down that opportunity and played college basketball at Rockhurst College in Kansas City, and told his son, that's one of the regrets that I have in life. And when the same opportunity presented itself to Connor, Connor turned down several scholarship offers from Missouri Valley Conference teams, Wichita State. He turned down a scholarship offer from Ole Miss, and we talked to him yesterday, and what a personable young man. He said, no, I don't have any regrets at all. That was a good decision.
He's having fun here. Freshman, and the crowd loves him. Last night, at the Rockhurst game when they were beaten by Shawnee Mission East High School, Kahn with a jam shot Now, how about this? They were chanting Connor Teahan's name at the high school game, and they'll be chanting it here. Here's a freshman who's getting his name called by 2 basketball crowds, so he made the right decision.
I used to hear my name called a lot, but it's usually getting him out of the game. I tell you what, if you're looking for bright spots, if you Nebraska Cornhuskers, Steve Harley has put together a terrific basketball game back-to-back. He was awful good against Baylor, career high 15 points coming into tonight's game this afternoon, and he has been solid here again today.
Kahn sets a pick. Chalmers off the dribble, kicks it back to Reed. Reed bounce pass. Kahn down low against Ping, and the shot good. That was not good. Sean Ping playing defense on it. Robinson and Collins back in the lineup here now for Kansas. Rush and Chalmers sits down. Let's take a look at our assist leaders. Brought to you by Cargill. Collaborate, create, and succeed. Chalmers and Robinson leading the assists for Kansas. Look at them there. Numbers 3 and 4 in the league. DJ Augustine from Texas leading the Big 12 Conference. 4:25 to play. Bill Self's team leading by 24, and he will unload that bench before many more ticks on that clock. Kahn down inside. Foul, will they count it?
That is strong. That's a good call by Steve Wilmers. But did you see how low of a base that Sasha Kahn had? He catches that ball, chins it, elbows out, and then watch how low he sits down. And that provides the strength to explode up through the defender. Boy, what a strong, fundamentally sound move by Sasha Kahn.
Yeah, 6 points, all of them in the second half. The free throw misses. Not a good free throw shooter, 55%. But the rest of his game, extremely solid. 4 minutes, 7 seconds to play. J.R. Strobridge with Conway out on the floor defending. Now down inside, they get it, and it won't go. Sean Ping. Ping missed the shot. Collins from way outside. Ron Collins with his 10th point of the day.
This could be a good opportunity the last 3.5 minutes of this basketball game for Sharon Collins, perhaps to get in a little bit of a rhythm offensively. We've now seen him hit 2 big 3-pointers.
Strobridge took it in the lane, got it blocked, picked up by Ping, and the shot
strong.
Good.
Sean Ping put his right elbow right in the chest of big, strong Sasha Kahn.
Tyrell Reed back on the wing. Long try, good from Russell Robinson. The KU doing a lot of things right. 9 points. We have a timeout here with 3 minutes, 18 seconds to play. And watch Sharon Collins from just about Ottawa, Kansas. Watch this one, and we'll be back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. Sharon Collins lights it up.
Enter the $66,000 free throw giveaway from Phillips 66.
Game on. The doctor is in and he's about to operate.
You could win a chance to shoot 4 free throws at the Phillips 66 Men's Big 12 Basketball Championship in Kansas City. Each shot is worth big money. Sink all 4 and win $66,000. So get to practice and get to your nearest Phillips 66 store to register.
Whatever.
3:18 to play and a huge lead to Kansas. And here's an advanced look at upcoming games brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. We're ready in advance. Nebraska will go to Missouri on Wednesday, then go home to play Iowa State, down to Manhattan to play Kansas State, and home to Bobby Knight and Texas Tech. The Jayhawks go to Kansas State on Wednesday night. That could be a good one.
I'm looking forward to that one. At Colorado will be a good game, and then Missouri again, and then it'll be interesting to see the upstart Baylor Bears against these Jayhawks. But I tell you what, Wednesday night at Kansas State, man, I would almost pay my own airfare to go up and watch that one. Almost.
Right now, Kansas State 3-0. There's Brandon Rush on the bench with Russell Robinson, Darnell Jackson sitting over now. Most of the regulars are out. Roderick Stewart's on there. Cole Aldrich. Connor Teahan is in the game. Connor Teahan on the wing. We'll see if they can get him a shot. Connor Teahan.
He's a great shooter.
Teahan has hit 11 out of 17 threes this year. That's why he's such a crowd favorite. Now, Reed lost the pass, picked up by Doconduro in the lane. Oh, he got whacked from behind Cole Aldrich. We've got a break. 2 minutes, 47 seconds left in this one. Kansas up by 30. Bill Self has emptied the bench, and the crowd is celebrating at Allen Fieldhouse. 66. Gasoline specially formulated to clean fuel injectors, increase performance, and above all, help maximize mileage. By Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealer. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Shelter Insurance. For your auto, home, and life, seek shelter today. We're back. 2:47 to play as Daganduro knocks down a free throw for Nebraska. Ade Daganduro, the 6'5 junior from Inglewood, California, with a miss. Cole Aldridge, a 6'11, a freshman, picks off the rebound. Jeremy Case, Cole Aldridge, Tyrell Reed. Reed picks up the dribble. Needs some help now and finds Cole Aldridge. He needs some help.
Nice defense by Nebraska.
Jeremy Case 10 to shoot for Nebraska. There's Connor Tehan for three. A little strong with the try. Stewart trying to save the rebound for Kansas. It's out of bounds. And it'll be Jayhawk basketball. Roderick Stewart. There's his dad, Bull, whom we met yesterday, Reed. He's only won 22 world championships in powerlifting, and the Jayhawk hit the floor hard.
He may be concerned about his son. 22-time world champion powerlifter. Bench presses 570 pounds, deadlifts 850 pounds. How would you like to break a curfew and have to come home and face Bull? Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
We shook his hand yesterday, like shaking hands with a brick. 22 world championships.
Described by Sports Illustrated as the Michael Jordan of powerlifting, and Andrew Stewart will be quick to tell you that he competes only in the division and that's verifiable drug-free.
How many times did you say he's been tested? Hundreds?
He is. Well, I mean, Bull. Would you call him anything else?
No.
Except maybe Mr. Bull? Mr. Bull, sir?
Roderick Stewart, his son, going to the free throw line after hitting the deck card.
Roderick has a twin brother, and they both started at USC. And Mr. Stewart has two more, another set of twins, freshmen that I understand are very good basketball players as well.
Matt Kleiman now ready to check into the lineup for Kansas. Bill Self giving everybody an opportunity to play. Roderick Stewart, after hitting the deck hard, gets both free throws down. They're going to take him out of the game and just check on him. They want to know, is he okay? You can bet he's saying, yeah, I am. 2:12 to play, 80-49. Kansas by 31. Harley, Salomon for Nebraska. Back to Strobridge. Daganduro, Salomon, and Harley. Long try, Salomon off the front of the rim, and Cole Aldridge with the rebound. Now Jeremy Case. More substitutions for Kansas headed for the bench. Here comes Harley for Nebraska, racing up court. Nice dish to Strobridge and shot. Nice block. At the other end, Jeremy Case, and he lost the gripper on it. He was going to square up for the dunk.
Tell you what, a lot of people laughing and thinking that's funny. You look over there at the coaching staff for Kansas, and nobody's laughing. They don't care who's on the floor. You can make a great defensive play like Kansas just did, but down on the other end, nobody's going to think that's funny.
Brennan Machard is in there. Chase Buford on the floor. Also out there right now is Brad Witherspoon. And a shot in the bucket for Nebraska. Will they count it?
I think
nope, 1 and 1.
John Higgins called that on the floor, but a nice aggressive move by Sheng Ping.
Sheng Ping from China, a 6'10 junior from Harbin, China. Sheng is 0 for 3 at the free throw line today. It reminds me of, remember Manute Bol?
Yeah, I did.
Terrible free throw shooter. One day somebody told his coach, you know, Manute killed a lion with a spear? And he said, well, he must have been throwing at the other lion.
He must have been standing 15 feet away.
Buford, Tehan. Connor Tehan off the dribble in late. Oh, what a nice dish down to Matt Kleinman. And Kleinman scores. What a nice pass. Connor's a little more than just a shooter.
Yeah, he is. He's a basketball player.
Outside it comes to Strobridge for Nebraska. The shot no good. Well, that ball went dead on the back of the rim. Kleiman has the rebound. Outlets to, this is Brennan Bouchard now on this side. And a block down low by Ping. And a goaltending call? Yep.
Tell you what, Fred, there are some more great basketball games in the Big 12 Conference today. A doubleheader coming up next. Some people will be watching Missouri and Colorado. Others will be watching Baylor and Oklahoma. Two good basketball games. Before that starts, I'd take advantage of emailing that studio. I've got a couple I'm going to fire off to Stacey King, too. Big 12 Studios at ESPN.com. I got some questions for you, big fella. Now, they're all going to be respectful because I may run into you again sometime soon. And whoever was making fun of your condition, that was not me.
No, that was Stu from Stillwater.
Stu from Stillwater was totally out of line, Stace.
Harley behind the back dribble, trying to get rid of Witherspoon, and Kleiman picks him up in the corner. And the ball just flying in the air, picked up by Connor Tehan for Kansas. Tehan driving to the baseline. Somebody got a hand on that shot. Looked like Doganduro. 0.8 of a second to play, and this one is all wrapped up for Kansas. Kansas tracking another Big 12 championship. They have won 50 conference championships in basketball at Kansas, the most of any school in Division I in the NCAA. And this one's over. The Jayhawks have won it 84-49. With a whole lot of big days, the ball distributed and scoring distributed for Kansas. They go to 20-0 on the year, 5-0 in the Big 12 Conference. Nebraska at 11-6, 0-4. So Kansas wins it here. Let's get you into Studio 66.
Coming up on ESPN Plus, some of you will see the Missouri Tigers looking for their first road win of the year at Colorado. Damari Carroll is loosening those legs, the big transfer from Vanderbilt. Also, Curtis Geralds leads the upstart Baylor Bears coming off that 5-overtime win at Texas A&M. They're back at home against the Oklahoma Sooners. Speaking of OU, Stacey King here at Studio 66 along with Doug Bell. What do you think? Kansas, what is their weakness, Stace? Do they have one?
Well, I'd probably say it's, probably just basically getting bored. I mean, you see what they did to this Nebraska team. It seemed like they got bored in the second half. I think if they can make free throws, because they do struggle at free throws sometimes, but I think just staying active in the game and not getting bored, because they're blowing everybody out right now. So it looks like they're kind of going on cruise control in the second half.
We watched Memphis beat Gonzaga today, and they're on a roll, just like Kansas, 1 and 2 in the country. Compare the two. Is Memphis better than Kansas right now?
I think they're better in transition. I think Kansas has more depth in the front court. I think if they get in trouble, if any, Arthur or Jackson get in foul trouble, they can come in with Sasha Khan. He played well today off the bench. But this Memphis team is an up and down team, and if they're able to get out and trap you and press you, they can cause a lot of problems. Their Achilles heel is shooting free throws also.
Well, let's go back to the Fog. Reed Geddes standing by with Bill Self and some of the stars. Reed.
Well, guys, a happy Bill Self, 20-0 Jayhawks. Coach, we watched you practice yesterday. You were emphasizing on-the-ball screens and that no-catch zone. I would imagine you were pleased with the way y'all played.
Yeah, we have a hard time guarding Alex. And I thought our bigs did a good job, and our guards really did a good job in the first half of keeping enough pressure on him where he didn't look like he was open. So I was pretty pleased. We played good the first half, and second half, I think both teams just tried to get through the half.
Yeah, no fouls, no timeouts. Let's get through it. Offensively, I thought you were so good in transition, but then you got a lot of production from Brandon Rush spotting up shooting threes. But as usual, a good balanced effort from your team.
Yeah, it's been different guys most every night, and we have a size advantage. We played through Shady and Darnell a lot the first half, and then Brandon was our perimeter player, knocked down shots. I may be off on this a little bit, but Sharon and Russell and Mario only combined for 8 points the first half, but we were still pretty efficient.
Bill, are you pleased with the way your team is progressing? Coaches always talk about that we need to keep improving, especially through January and February. Are you pleased with where y'all are?
Oh yeah, I love this team. I don't think we're where we need to be. We have a lot of mental breakdowns, and the guys know it, but they can come in a timeout or whatever and tell me exactly what they did wrong. So I like how much they love to play and how much they love to play with each other, and hopefully we can keep that going.
All right, Coach, I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck to you. And let's bring Brandon Rush in. Fred White next to Brandon. Brendan, hey, a terrific basketball game. Your coach was just bragging on how well y'all played defensively. Do you feel like you accomplished what you set out to do in this basketball game?
Yeah, I think we did in the first half. In the second half, we let up a little bit. We held them to 15 points in the first half. In the second half, we let them score a lot of points. So we're not pretty happy about that.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about how quick you have come back. I'm not sure I've seen anybody recover from an ACL athletically as quick as you have recovered. Do you feel 100% when you're out there running up and down the court?
Yeah, I feel 100%, but I know in my mind that I'm not. I still have some doubts about it sometimes, but other than that, I think I'm playing pretty good.
Hey, talk to us a little bit about the concentration and the focus. Do you guys get caught up in the undefeated season and all the talk about being 20-0?
No, not at all. I think we're most humble team out. We don't care about the undefeated thing right now. We're just taking a game at a time.
Now, defensively, I don't know if you know it or not, Alex March did not score a point. Your coach was just talking about that he's a tough matchup for you. A terrific job inside, not only from your post guys, but it seemed like you guys on the perimeter were doing a good job keeping that ball out of the no catch zone.
Yeah, we were trying our hardest to just dive on the post every time Mars got the ball, or their bigs made a force up a bad shot. So we did a pretty good job on him tonight.
Now, you did a terrific job on him. Congratulations. Hey, good luck to you. We appreciate you stopping by. Doug Bell, Stacey King, this is a good basketball team, and there's a lot of things to like. Back to you guys.
Reed, you're right about that. KU now plays Kansas State on Wednesday night, an undefeated Kansas State team. We'll see what they do later today, but what about that matchup? Looking ahead for KU.
Well, I don't think Kansas State, as great as Michael Beasley is and a tough matchup it's going to be, I think he's going to have a hard time going against that Kansas front court. They've got too much depth. They can score inside, outside, and when you got Rush knocking down threes, it only opens it up for the big guys, and I don't think they match well. Kansas State doesn't match very well against that inside force.
All right, we've talked about the important game going on in Stillwater right now between Texas A&M and Oklahoma State, both 1-3 in league play. It's been back and forth, Stace. We've been watching it from the studio. Oklahoma State just scores to go on top by 2. This could go to overtime.
Well, it looks like it's going to go that way. It's seesaw back and forth. Texas A&M looked like Oklahoma State looked like they were pulling away. A&M came back with some good defense. It's going to be interesting to see how this game unfolds at the end.
All right, highlights of that one coming up right after our first break as we get ready for our second half of our ESPN Plus doubleheader. We'll show you about Memphis, too. They're 20-0 with a big win at home today against Gonzaga and Billy Gillespie. What the heck is going on in Bluegrass Country?
On campus, all the flags at half-staff, remembering the 10 who lost their lives in that plane crash returning from Boulder, Colorado in 2001. So the importance of this ball game, there was such a mash of teams right in the middle sector of the conference. A&M 1-3, Oklahoma State 1-3. Obviously, as we have just been talking about here in the second half, somebody's going to leave this game having lost 4 conference games in a row. So you can make up a lot of ground in a hurry. There are so many people with 1 or just 2 victories.
I think we've seen enough of the league this year that we know how good Kansas is, but there's an awful lot of parity. Even from 2 on down, you talk about Baylor and K-State, Ron. They're a turnover away or a missed free throw from a 2 or 3 game losing streak. A lot of balance in this league.
Yep.
Of course, this league. Foul on Carter.
Yeah, Josh Carter, the junior out of Dallas, out of Lake Highlands, picks up the foul.
He and Terrell Harris, actually, that's his 3rd. Terrell Harris started his high school career at Lake Highlands, so they know each other very well. A lot of these Dallas area kids do.
3:15 to play. And now the style becomes even more deliberate.
Kirk guarding Anderson. Kirk was all Big 12 defense a year ago, so he is not going to give Anderson any space. If he does catch it, you got to make him put it on the floor.
Dove drives the middle, couldn't get it, misses his own tip. Anderson on the follow. He'll go to the line for a couple.
And you see how aggressive Marcus Dove has become for Sean Sutton.
Boy, that's on Carter. That's foul number 4 as he picks up 3 and 4 in about a 30-second span.
See the missed shot, but Anderson just hanging around, able to get into the lane. Anderson a pretty good foul shooter, Ron. It's amazing how, as I mentioned, a missed free throw or a turnover. When you're these two teams, there's no margin for error down the stretch.
5 of 10, 50% for Oklahoma State. Aggies still haven't shot one in the second half, have they? 6 of 8 on the day.
Says something about where that ball has gone in their offense, because Marcus Dove's done a really good job on Joe Jones.
3-point Cowboy lead. 2.5 minutes to play.
See how much time the ball is on the perimeter.
Shot clock is at 4. Sloan falling away, did draw iron, but missed the shot.
Slow it down. I'm just doing a little coaching out here.
Well, sometimes Eton can be unpredictable.
Yeah, I think so.
ESPN has more Big East college basketball action coming your way tonight. Roy Hibbert and the Georgetown Hoyas face off against the West Virginia Mountaineers. College basketball on ESPN tonight, 7 Eastern. Ron Franklin, Fran Fischella coming to you from Stillwater, Oklahoma. The Cowboys trying to hold on here, and the Aggies keep clawing their way back.
Right now, Sean Sutton, he took that timeout, Ron, because when you're not getting great point guard play, you have to be the point guard from the sidelines. And both coaches will manage this game down the stretch with set plays. And don't be surprised if all 5 of those timeouts are used in terms of trying to run plays for their teams, because they're actually having to be a point guard from the bench, unlike what we saw the other night when Texas has DJ Augustine pretty much orchestrating the action, or AC Wall, or so many of the other great point guards that we've seen. It takes a lot out of you when you're the point guard from the sideline, believe me.
Shot clock is at 13. Thomas down to 8.
Got to drive it.
Eton tries to drive it. Offensive foul.
It's interesting because I thought Eton got bumped first, and the second bump he ran a defender over. But that's the hard part of trying to coach your team from the sideline and not being able to run the team from the court.
So we'll find out just how big that turnover is against the Cowboys, with Eton picking up the foul, and they don't get an opportunity to put more points on the board. A&M down by 3. Under 90 seconds left, and Marcus Dove with a block.
Unbelievable. They set a double screen. It's kind of an open and closed gate. He slipped through the 2 screeners, and then Marcus Dove with a brilliant defensive play. Take a look. You see they squeeze the defender, and Marcus Dove left his man to come over and get the block.
And let's go to West Lafayette, Indiana, for a preview on Purdue and Wisconsin.
West Lafayette, North of Penn Crew. We've been here since 3 p.m. yesterday. We got Purdue, number 11 Wisconsin up next. Back to Ron and my boy Fran Fischella in Stillwater.
Oh, we're going to take up a donation to get him a new hat.
Well, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah,
appreciate
we appreciate
the mention,
that
right?
very much. Yeah. 56-53 our score. 1:27 showing on the clock. Stock strategy. If you're the Aggies, first of all, what do you do? Where do you take it?
You know, you got so much time on the clock. You want to go inside. I was a little surprised they ran a 3-point play, because I really think that this team needs to play from the paint out. They can get open shots if they can exploit the lane.
Well, with the block, they're starting off with 17 seconds on the shot clock. Boy, Kirk saved it. Carter injured his ankle when he slipped down. 7 seconds, down to 6. 3 seconds. Sloan, not there. Tip inside, and who got it? I was unsighted.
Couldn't tell, Ron, but you're right about Carter.
Boy, Carter is he injured that ankle bad enough that he wanted to go straight to the bench.
Now they sub quickly in, and they go.
They're looking at the knee rather than the ankle.
See the penetration.
It was Sloan who got the tip. Donald Sloan.
And we talked at the very top about offensive efficiency for Oklahoma State.
1 minute remaining. Sean Sutton calls a 30-second timeout, and his ball club is leading by 1. Talk strategy for the Cowboys and what they do.
The hardest thing for Oklahoma State right now is they don't have the one guy that you can go to consistently. So to me, it's always about getting the ball to the paint, getting yourself to the foul line. And in this case, it's probably got to be off the dribble, but you have to use it judiciously.
Talk about A&M and the fact that on the road has been a difficult place for them this year.
Well, it really has. Remember, this team is a team that was 15-1. And remember, Ron, when we went to Texas Tech, they had not played a road game in 45 days. Right now, they're 0-3 on the season. So this is about mental toughness for a team that has a lot of returning players from a year ago.
Obviously, it is going to be very difficult to find out more on Josh, but it is now appearing as you look at the reset, 2 timeouts for the Aggies, both teams with 6 fouls, but it almost looks like a knee that is bothering him rather than the ankle.
Now, this is Oklahoma State's biggest possession of the game.
Marcus Dubb, a flop, no call on the floor, and A&M comes away with it. Terrell Harris picks up the foul. Watch him slip.
Yep.
Obviously, some moisture on the floor, and boy, he's in a lot of pain. A&M, this is the first time that they will have shot a free throw in the entire second half. It is the biggest one of the game right now. They're down by 1, 44.1 seconds left, and Kirk has tied the ball game.
Now you're looking at a guy that shoots 72, 73% from the foul line, but more importantly, a guy that started 115 straight games and has been a big part of the renaissance. So he's been in these pressure situations.
Second one on the way, and he got that one as well. Pressure. Dominique Kirk steps to the line, and just what a senior is supposed to do. He takes advantage. Aggies on top by 1.
Let's see what they run now. They don't have a proven go-to guy.
Terrell Harris, wrap-around pass, tried to get it to Thomas. Anderson does get it to Thomas, and Thomas was fouled.
Very fortunate. Harris with the blind look. Anderson just attacked the rim, and fortunate to find fellow freshman Thomas.
You know, friend, this is not all bad. If he gets the 2-pointer, I mean, here he's going to the line. He's got to take care of business there. The Aggies still have 20.9 seconds on the clock.
It's not bad for the Aggies, particularly because Thomas also shoots 64%. So there's a good chance he'll miss one of these.
What Big Monday means a full night of college basketball will start at 7 Eastern. It's the Louisville Cardinals taking on the Connecticut Huskies. Then at 9 Eastern, action continues in the Big 12. Rivalry game known as Bedlam will take place. It is Oklahoma State traveling to Norman, and they will face the Sooners. Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, is part of Student Spirit Week, presented by EAS on ESPN. Timeout apiece left. Fouls 7 each.
And if you're Mark Turgeon, you're telling your team we have an average free throw shooter up there, so we must block out, get the rebound. There's a chance that they're going to be. It's a 1-and-1, Ron.
Carter is back on the floor. Yep. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine. But this is a 1-and-1 situation, so the first free throw is critical for the Cowboys.
Missed the first one. They are now 5 of 11 on the ball game. A&M is 8 of 10.
My fault, 2-shot foul.
Well, they can tie it here. But as I mentioned, 20.9 seconds left on the clock. He missed that one, and it's rebounded by Carter of the Aggies. Sloan has it, and a foul is called. Who got it? Dove? Yep, it's going to be on Marcus. And Sean Sutton was up right there at the bench, and he was hollering, foul quickly, foul quickly.
They fouled a guy that's just about 60% foul shooter. Well, to me, it's been about offensive efficiency for Oklahoma State. They do not score easily. They've had numerous chances to stretch this lead in the final minutes, haven't been able to do it.
Well, Manello is trying to check into the ball game, but he will wait a couple of moments. And Carter goes to the bench. Rowland checks in for the Aggies. Sloan missed it.
They've got a timeout left.
And when the timeout was called by the bench, the officials are pointing. It'll be about 10 feet on the other side of the timeline, on the other side of midcourt. All right, so talk strategy with me again. 13.8 seconds left. Who do you go to?
Well, what they've done throughout the year, and they've done it once in this game already, is they isolate one side of the floor with Marcus Dove right here. So what they'll do, Ron, what they have done this year is pass it to Dove, clear out everybody, and then allow him to go to the basket in an isolation situation. That may get him to the foul line. That may get him a basket. It also may give an opportunity to drop it down to another big or kick it out for an open jump shot. But Dove has been their go-to guy over the last 10 games.
Marcus Dove, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And there's no number you can put on leadership, but that huge block that he had on the sideline, who knows, that might have been a 3-point shot. That's right. That was going in right there.
I think what you want to do is attack the basket with the dribble and make the officials make a call if it's there. If it's there, you're much less likely to get a foul called with a jump shot.
Show the situation. 13.8 seconds left in the ball game. It is the Aggies leading by 1, 57-56. And Manello is in the ball game. Could be the go-to guy. OSU has hit just 1 field goal over the last 8 minutes of this ball game. Anderson not there. Comes down in the arms of Texas A&M. Ryan Davis grabs it, and there's 3.9 seconds left, and A&M at the free throw line.
Same exact play they ran Monday night for Anderson, but they ran it on the other side of the floor today. A little, they call it a cowboy fade screen. He got the shot. Doug Gottlieb's back in the studio. He knows this play. And I'm a little surprised that they put the ball in the hands of the freshman 2 straight games. Not because he can't make that shot, Ron, but because I would much rather attack the basket off the dribble. Late in the game, it gives you 2 opportunities to score, the basket or the free throws.
It's up to Davis here now. We're talking about 1 and 1, and there's still 3.9 seconds left. Got it.
Okay, now we've been in this situation before. Remember, if they need a 2 or 3, the man who catches the ball cleanly has 4 dribbles. He doesn't have to shoot a desperation shot.
Davis taking all the time in the world. Concentrating. Got the second one as well. It is a 3-point ball game. Aggies lead 59-56. Full timeout is what Oklahoma State has asked for.
Now the question is,
A&M, I beg your pardon, so they can set up their defense.
Now the question is, are you going to foul? More than likely they will foul to not give up the open 3 at the other end. But a bigger question is, do coaches practice this in practice? How to foul in this situation because if
you don't pick up an intentional foul,
an intentional foul, or you don't foul a guy who just heaves the ball at the basket, and now it's in the act of shooting.
Well, despite the injury, Josh Carter has been very big for Texas A&M.
I'll tell you what's impressive about Carter. He's only made 1 3 tonight, so he's gotten it done a lot of different ways, particularly the use of the bounce. Last year's best three-point shooter in college basketball.
Well, let's investigate what Oklahoma State has done from beyond the arc. Anderson 4 of 6, Manalo 2 of 3, Eton 1 of 4, and Harris and Dove are 0 for 7 between the two of them.
Yeah, I think you got to get the ball to Manelo or Eton. They're two best ball handlers. And remember, if they can catch it on the move heading towards their basket, they're going to get 4 dribbles. So you can get end to end, but if you take 3 dribbles, you have time for a pass. 4 dribbles, you must shoot it yourself. See, Eton, I think, is going to try to catch it on the run.
Well, both of these teams desperately needing a win. Both have lost 3 in a row, and Sloan with the steal. And the Aggies will get the win. It will be the Cowboys who will lose 4 in a row. The two coaches shaking hands right here in front of us. So the Aggies will head home to play their arch rival, the Texas Longhorns, on Wednesday. We will be there to take a look at that one. Final score is Aggies 59 and Oklahoma State 56. Up next at ESPN College Basketball, Wisconsin and Purdue. I'm Rod Franklin for Fran Fraschilla and our entire crew. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Stillwater.